Here we go
There
again.
we go.
We're back.
We are back, baby.
We're back on a different podcast. This is not the
Yeah.
BS show, even though we're going to
Not
call it the BS
anymore.
show.
This is the BS.
The BS
One
show.
night only show, yeah.
So welcome, everybody. My name is Steven. I'm joined today by the bearded Brandon, a.k.a. just Brandon.
AKA just Brandon,
Just
absolutely.
Brandon. And, we used to run a podcast called The BS Show.
We did, and we
And
ran
so-
it very well.
Yeah, we ran it very well. I'll link to that below, I think, maybe. And then we kind of just joined back because I wanted him on the podcast to talk about his photography, his views on stuff. And if this goes any longer, we'll put it on the actual BS channel.
Yeah. That would be a good way to go back into
Travis
it.
will be
Yeah.
there just like,
Keeping tabs on it. You guys are finally back.
you guys are finally back. Yeah, only for today, bud.
All
It's,
right.
it's the one episode for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do one episode in 2024 and then we're done.
And then, yeah, the podcast is over.
The podcast is over.
The show ends, everyone's happy, supposedly. Perfect.
All right, so let's get started. Let's get started with you. So,
Yes.
photography. I know you shoot mostly film. You do 120 film, right? Medium format, and then you do have some digital, right?
Okay, so funny enough, yeah, last time
Yeah.
that was the case. It was mainly film,
Yeah.
some digital thing, but now it's reversed where I have not touched my medium format camera in maybe like months,
Really?
like 6 months maybe. I only pick it up whenever I need to get a pump going.
Because that thing is a brick.
Yeah, that shit is a brick. But I picked up a Nikon F3 and that's been my go-to.
Oh.
That's been like my everyday camera.
Yeah, but then
But-
it's just a 35 millimeter.
Yeah,
So still
35.
film.
Yeah, still film. But recently I've also put that one to the side and it's been back to digital because I've been doing a little more cinematography stuff
Yeah.
while still doing picture stuff.
Yeah.
And now that I'm doing a little more experimental like photography like I usually do,
Yeah.
and it's just more convenient for me to use my digital camera because I don't have to spend as much money
Yeah.
and I can take way more shots and
Easier to edit.
so
and-
much easier to edit, easier
Re-
to see it in one go as opposed to going to get my film developed.
Yeah.
Cuts off like a majority of the process, but I'm happier that way. It's easier. But I love pulling out my fucking Nikon F3. It's still
Yeah.
great to have around.
Is that the one where you can remove the top and you could shoot
Yes.
top down? Dude, I always wanted that camera just for that.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted a top down option because
think
it's
that's-
like bending down and trying to get it hurts
really,
my back.
It really does add a lot to it. I feel like people don't take that into consideration a lot, but like the fact that you don't have to bend your whole body over
Yeah.
really does make a big difference in the happiness you feel at the moment of taking that picture.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'll just take the pop, go all the way down like that. And then it's like, wow, I rub my back and be like, wow, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I did a good job.
Yeah, I did great.
And what got you initially into photography?
Ooh, initially, I'd like to say it's always been in my blood because my grandfather was a photographer on my dad's side. And he was always walking around with a camera, like nonstop, always dressed in a suit and always had a camera. And when he passed away, when I was young, he left the camera with us, and as a kid, I used to always carry it around. Giant Nikon, F something, I think. Huge camera, heavy as hell, and the lens was one of those massive lenses, so I was barely carrying it. I was dragging it around. It was broken too, so it was fine that I was dragging. And I think that's where my fixation with cameras began.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also when cell phones started becoming more massively available, when my parents got cell phones.
Yeah.
That's when it started clicking that I can be taking pictures and recording stuff.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I'd be like, Mom, can I use your Razor phone?
The flip phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first phone too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I was taking pictures of everything with that.
Yeah.
Like nothing was getting by me. And it also had like the selfie feature.
Yeah.
Like you remember when you close it, it would be like a
Exactly, and
I
you
used
could
to
see a
take
little bit
pictures
of
with
yourself on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I used to take pictures with that too, but like not
The
even of
8-bit
me.
photo.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so cool. But then I abandoned it completely until high school when I was just like, Mom, Dad, can you guys get me a camera? Like a basic one. I just want to take pictures.
Yeah.
I feel the need. Was I inspired by something? Maybe. I think I'd like to say it was movies. I was always a big movie kid growing up.
Yeah.
So I think that might have shaped and or pushed me on the path of going to get it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Favorite?
what's up.
Who's your favorite director then? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't even warn you for
I
that
think
question.
Wong Kar-wai for sure.
Okay,
Because
cool.
I think, you know what, it kind of fits in my realm of the way I use colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like super colorful,
Yeah.
saturated, like
super saturated.
yeah.
And also the the broken up images, like low framey images,
Yeah.
goes so well with like my long exposure stuff that it makes sense to me. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is my guy. This is my dude. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite director. Who's yours?
Wes Anderson.
Okay,
I love symmetry and I love colors, but I just do it in a different way where it's
Yeah.
like I still want symmetry in my photos. That's one thing I do look for. And then color wise, it's like he's more pastel-y,
Yeah.
but I just love the way he puts these colors together.
Yeah.
And that's like my favorite thing about him. It's like those two main things.
I'm a fan of how in control he is of everything.
Yeah.
I appreciate that level of anything
Yeah.
when people can take even the minute details and have it fixated that it helps the overall story.
Yeah.
Like being able to see the individual cogs, beautiful thing. No, he's a great director. That's why like my favorite movie is The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like an amazing movie. I
My
love it.
favorite movie. Yeah, I
And
gotta
it's
go.
like he always has like this way of like kind of making it what's another like I don't want to say like childish, but like kind of like new
Like, it's
nostalgic, but like
Yeah.
it's like nostalgic, but it's still like friendly for everybody, and
You
it's
know,
like goes back and forth.
Even then, I would even say you could definitely say like childish.
A little
because-
bit. Like, I don't want
because
to,
of the
'cause-
colors. No, but you know
yeah,
what
the
it is?
colors,
It's
yeah.
literally storybook in the way that it's
Yeah.
made.
Asteroid City was the same kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
reading a comic book, but you're watching it on
Yes.
screen. I'm like, dude, like I love that. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's so different from my photography. I don't pay like I don't.
It is
Put
very
the two-
contrasty.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
yours
I
is
don't put
very,
them
like,
together, but I just
yeah.
like to sit there and watch his movies because he also writes it. So it's like,
Yeah.
like the stories he creates are awesome. And then in the closet Stephen Shore book, he has a section of Stephen Shore. So Stephen Shore made a book where um, he asked a bunch of different people in general to pick 10 photos out of his collection and make their own section in this book. So each chapter
interesting.
is one. And Wes Anderson did that. He had one section, and they all had to pick 10 photos at the most. And he wrote like a little snippet for each photo there. So he made a story for each photo that he picked.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
That
that's
sounds
why I
pretty
love.
dope, Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love him. So it's like him as a director, but him as a person is like also really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
So-
even know. That is super, that's fucking cool. I didn't know that.
yeah. And pulling back the convo, like,
Yeah.
okay, so who's a couple of your favorite photographers then?
Oh, okay. So
Or-
as you know, I'm not good with names.
Yeah.
As you guys don't know, I'm not good with names or birthdays. Fun fact. I wouldn't remember mine if it weren't attached to a holiday. My favorite photographer would have to be, I think it's Lourdes Gorbet. Gorbet.
I'm not familiar.
She's a Mexican photographer.
Okay.
And she used to document a lot of luchador, like lucha libre.
Oh, I think you've told me about this before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the book. If you want to borrow it, I got you.
Cool.
I think it's like my most prized possession book at the moment. That one
Yeah.
is beautiful, like documenting lucha libre life. All the nooks and crannies of it, like getting into their day-to-day life. Like, what is it that they take home from the ring?
Yeah.
What from home goes into the ring?
Ooh.
And also beautiful documentation on such a big part of Mexican culture,
Yeah.
which has been taken and like gone in all directions too. Because
Of
lucha
course.
is also in Japan. Lucha, like, it goes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And they also gentrified it. They made movies out of it, and it's like not the
Exactly.
same as what the real one is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's very nice seeing the raw, gritty, beautiful, and colorful world it already is by itself.
Yeah.
And it's nice seeing wrestlers being put in their homes with their masks on, costumes on, and they're like feeding their children. They're like standing in front of like Jesus Cristo.
Yeah.
And it's like such a nice, going back to the nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
Like in no way, shape, or form, like my mom did not wear a wrestler's mask when she was feeding me for sure. But I almost felt
Yeah.
like I can connect to that. And it's a lot. There's a lot to read in there too.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you look her up. I feel
Definitely.
like you'd like it a lot.
Probably. Like
Yeah.
that reminds me of two books I have. Alex Webb Dislocation is one
Yeah.
of them, and then the other one is Anna just gave it to me for Christmas.
Mhm.
It's I'm reading it from here. Latinx photographers in the United States, but
Oh, right.
that one's U.S. ones, and the one you said is from Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe she may or may not be in it.
Could be in it, yeah.
Question: do you think those luchadors like actually wore those masks like all the time, or just like for the photos, and then they took that out when they left the ring?
So I think it depends on which luchador. Yes, I think
Really?
El Santo
Yeah,
was known for always having it on, even like in his home life.
yeah,
And I think it was stated by his family, they're like, they barely got to see his face.
yeah.
And because like even like if he showered, he still like he would take it off for the shower and then put it back on like right after.
Really?
And I was just like, damn, that's so interesting. But
Do
I think probably in private they probably took it off. Like
Do you think it was like for him to hide something, or like Do you think it was like a shield for him, like to like emotionally hide himself, or
Could be a mixture, or it could be that at some point you become the legend that you are in the stories, right?
yeah,
El Santo is like fighting werewolves and vampires and
yeah,
so like maybe at some point it's kind of like a mixture of like I can't let these kids down. I
yeah,
have to let them know I'm the real life superhero if they look up to me. It
that's
was a
true.
mixture of that. It was he had like a bit. The mask represented so much more than just
Yeah,
himself. So it probably was that. Even when they buried him in the mask.
damn, I didn't even know that.
Like I think when they had the casket, it was just him in the mask. Like they
I'm not too familiar with luchadors at all. The only thing I remember is Lucha Libre, the
oh
TV shows.
yeah.
That's like as close as I can get.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the real thing, I actually don't know anything about
It's
it.
surprising. I bet like I don't know. I like the only reason I'm familiar with it
Yeah.
is because growing up, my mom and dad were like, "Oh look, Blue Demon and El Santo Blanco versus Dracula," and those were like movies that they would play on these like old channels on cable.
Yeah.
And I
Is it
watch
black and white?
Yeah, it's black and white,
Oh,
and I just
snap.
went. They're just like wrestling vampires, and it's
Yeah.
like, what the hell? This is the coolest shit.
Yeah, I
ever.
never had that. I skipped and
Yeah.
went right to
You
the
should, like-
kung fu,
Dude,
like
you should ask your mom.
Jet Li.
You should ask your mom and see what's up with that. Oh yeah, Jet Li movie and all that. That was
Yeah.
also a big thing for like
yeah.
growing up too. But yeah,
But I
ask your
didn't
mom.
have any of the luchador. That's what I'm saying. I only had the karate and the
Yeah.
all that other
Dude,
stuff.
ask your mom. See
Yeah.
if they know anything lucha libre like good. Or just say the names El Santo Blanco or El Blue Demon.
Yeah.
See if they say anything.
All right, I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, cause now I'm just curious, cause like I said, it's like, and it's funny because I've seen sumo wrestling and
Yeah.
everything like that, but I've never watched like a luchador
Dude, it's
thing or
crazy.
anything like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna borrow this book now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got you.
Is there any other like influences that you have?
So there's another photographer. I blank on the name.
No worries. If you
Older
want to describe
photographer
the
in black
style,
and white. Yeah, it's like long exposure photography.
long exposure. Okay.
Older photography. I think like maybe post-war, pre-war, maybe.
Hmm.
I can't. It might. Definitely in Europe.
Okay.
I'm like narrowing down much.
Do you know
But
if
I
they're
just-
part of the Magnum group by any chance?
I don't.
Okay. Because if they do, I have a whole book about each Magnum photographer. We could go through
Oh,
that.
so maybe we'll go through that and you can like put it up on the screen. Like,
Yeah.
Who it is I'm referring to, but like yeah.
Yeah, but what about that
Beautiful,
person? Yeah.
Long exposure photography in black and white, also on film. So this is like,
Yeah.
I feel like that little bit kind of adds to it, where he's just his composition is absolutely beautiful, and I think in not weird ways, it's very moving
Yeah.
and very telling of the time period that it was in, and also how cyclical a lot of these things are. When I look at his pictures, it makes me go, huh, that reminds me of Penn Station. Like all these people in suits moving up and down, and you don't really remember faces as much when you get into those situations, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what like a big piece of it carried for me. It's like all these pictures of movement with still subjects, or sometimes he would go for like such crazy compositions that you're just like, how'd you get that shot? Like you specifically had to move right here, and you had to get people to like stop moving for some point, and they're still going, and then you still got that one guy in the back because
Yeah.
that's the actual subject. How did you do it? Where did you
Just
get the
good
patience
timing.
to do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
good timing. Also, a little bit of luck is everything too. Luck is
Yeah.
a big factor in it. I don't think a lot of people credit to. But
Yeah.
he.
That's one thing that's for sure. Like I feel like a lot of the photographers that even I look into have a lot of luck, but we don't see it like that.
Yeah.
Especially me, like, and I'm the one who's trying to like look into our lives and techniques, and
yeah.
I don't think about luck because a lot of the time it's like some of them force their ways in.
Oh, absolutely.
So like I don't really see the luck as much, and then sometimes I do. So it's
Yeah.
like really interesting when luck comes into the equation.
Especially in this, it also has to do everything with style. Style is like a big factor when it comes to luck too.
But that's kind of hard, and I feel like style is really difficult. Like everybody has an individual style,
Absolutely.
but I feel like back then it's so hard to differentiate because everybody's using the same kind of film and everybody's using the same kind of like
Yeah.
camera, and it's like, and honestly, as fucked up as it sounds, it's an idea that I carry is like it's not everybody's so focused on the camera, and it's like, oh, that person had a Leica 3 or that person had a Nikon F3 or whatever. And I'm just like, honestly, the camera doesn't mean shit because
Yeah.
it's just the piece of metal that you just click the button for.
Yeah.
But the film, the color film or the black and white film you actually use is what's actually the like main component that everybody
Makes
should
a
be
difference,
focusing on.
yeah.
And then that plus the photographer skills,
Right.
all that. And so I think it's like really hard to differentiate a lot of them because even like I have that difficulty of like, okay, these people have these photos, but if you put all these photos together, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how it is now too. With like Instagram,
It's because of how accessible it's gotten.
yeah, now it's
It
more
really is,
accessible.
yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like there's the photography thing is a little too oversaturated. So now you're seeing the same kind of photo like over and over
Yeah.
and over again. Now I'm like pissed at myself because I'm like, damn, I look like everybody else.
I feel that so much. Oh my god, dude, I feel it. You know how like that exact feeling whenever I see someone like, oh, this guy did long exposure in the city, and it's like, ah,
Yeah.
God, I've done long exposure in the city. Why?
And you look on your Instagram, it's like, damn, you did it in the
Yeah.
same place too.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, fuck, now everyone's doing the thing too. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fun though because one, friendly competition, always
Yeah.
fun, and it also gets me into this gear of like, well, that's fine. I'm not competing actually. I said
Yeah.
friendly competition, but I'm not actually competing. I'm just doing my own thing, and it's cool that we both have similar ideas. But look at how different they are.
Yeah.
Look at how we can be in the same spot, and you were paying attention to the people. I was paying attention to the stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Two different stories, two different people behind the thing. Like what the fuck? I was probably thinking about food. You were probably like, you were probably thinking about who knows what. That's cool.
Yeah.
So out of everything. But you're right. It has gotten super saturated,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing. I think that like what I mentioned before we got the camera rolling. It was just a lot of people grab the camera and immediately go, I'm gonna be the next famous photographer
Yeah.
of all time. Not even, I'm gonna be the best of all time. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that.
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong with you skipping the entire in between and thinking that you've hit that level already.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people really do let the idea of going, if I say my work is worth millions, then it's worth millions.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, cool. When did you pick up your camera? Yesterday. And it's like, well, okay, buddy. Like,
Yeah. You got a while to go.
You're like, all right, slow down there, buddy. But I get it. I like it. I like
Yeah.
the fucking.
Some people are good off the bat, but
Some
not
people
a lot of
naturally
people.
think- yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a tough one, but also they immediately try to replicate too.
But
It's
I
always
mean,
like,
that's
I'm
where you
gonna
have
be-
to start. I feel like that
That is
is
true.
a starting point for everybody because it's like you don't know what
It's
you're
a form of
doing.
appreciation too,
Yeah.
which is like a good thing because it shows that you're studying and it's like historical and all that.
Yeah.
But saying that I'm going to be the next
Oh yeah. And,
thing and then you formulate your entire work off of that,
yeah.
and then it's kind of like, yeah, but what are you doing different? And then why are you complaining that like, oh, but I'm doing it like this guy, why isn't it? Well, it's like maybe it's because of that.
Yeah.
You haven't put your character into it yet.
Yeah, and then the other thing on top of that is like the people who just do like the micro differences. They're like, yeah, no, me and him have different things, but I do this one thing slightly
I'm, like,
different.
slightly tilted
Yeah, I do it
camera.
slightly
Yeah.
tilted, and so that's the difference. I'm like, okay, you need to figure out more than
Yeah.
just that.
It has to be more. If it's
Yeah.
not the technical ability, has to be the story in which you like frame the context of the picture.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's technical ability, it's context, it's thing. What was the original question to this conversation?
I don't know. we were talking about your style and like not your style, like your photographers that you like, and then we went through
Right. Okay,
a bunch
yeah,
of
there you
different
go.
things and stuff like that. So yeah.
Welcome to
that's
the
how
BS
it works.
podcast.
Welcome to the BS podcast. This is what happens every time. I mean, at least we're still on the topic this time.
Yeah,
We're still on the photography
Yeah.
topic. Other times we would just go way
everywhere
and
and
come back.
nowhere.
So
Yeah.
we're doing a good job,
Yeah.
even though we're off. But yeah.
Yeah, other inspirations. Though, there is another photographer. Have them on Instagram. They do black and white, long exposure and double exposure stuff.
Ooh,
and
double
I really
exposure.
like their stuff because it's very, I'd like to say gothic
Ooh.
portraiture.
Okay.
And I found out about them through Travis because Travis had reposted them. I saw the pictures, immediately fell in love, and I followed them. And I like all their pictures every time. And I'm in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, every time I look at these pictures, I'm like, this is fucking.
I really want to practice double exposures more.
It's fun.
And I hate that like my camera can't do it. In camera I have to do it
Can it
Photoshop. No, not in camera. I have to Photoshop it
Oh, fuck.
and layer it and then
Yeah.
do whatever. And I'm like, I hate that. Like I want to do it in
Right.
camera because then I think that'll be like so much cooler. And I know it's gonna be baked like that. and
Also
I'm
adds
like,
a little more like creativity. Like,
Yeah.
Like gears.
I mean, that's why I still have my film cameras to do those
yeah,
kind of things.
yeah,
but
yeah. I like that my everyday shoot digital camera, the Nikon
Yeah.
D850, has a double exposure option.
I hate you.
Yeah,
I want
so
that
I
so
literally-
bad. I want that just for the fun of it. Like,
It's so fucking fun to use, and
yeah,
I always knew it was fun because like when I was shooting film, I used to always do double exposures, but
yeah,
then I stopped, and then digital, I was like, oh, it's not the same. It's not film. The tones.
yeah.
But I got over that, and I was just like, oh wait, no, this is fucking an infinite fucking like.
And then you could
double
just post
exposures.
edit later and then
Exactly.
like adjust as you want. Yeah,
And it also opened my mind to the idea that double exposures don't only have to happen in the studio.
yeah,
They can happen outside, and not just because I'm focusing on like making one thing darker. Like literally grab my wallet, cover some parts of the lens at weird angles,
oh,
and then start filling in the other gap with like other subjects.
Yeah, I never
And
thought
then
of that.
and
I
then
always
when
try to just layer it and try to make that one
yeah,
subject layer with the other subject so I could have the two subjects
yeah.
together. But
But
that's
then lo
cool.
and behold, you can do that. And then once I started thinking about that, I was just like, what if I just got construction paper and started like cutting out shapes that fit around my lens, like
Yeah.
the front, and then I'll just like do stuff like that. And then that helped me with a lot of like self portraiture stuff that I've been like not working on. I've like written it down,
Yeah.
and now it's given me big ideas for like more self portrait stuff because I was just like, holy shit, if I can like cut into that, make paper like of this, and then do that and do this, well now I'm able to actually get what I have in my brain out
Yeah.
in my camera, and I'm excited for that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at least while we're on this topic, how would you overall explain your style
Ooh,
or like your way of photography?
like experimental or abstract photography, I think would be like
Yeah.
the easiest way for
That
me
is
to
the
say,
easiest way.
right? Because
Like,
it's like not, if you go on my Instagram, it's not coherent,
yeah.
right? A lot of people have like themes and stuff that they stick to. Mine is very like, here's a picture of a perfume bottle. And
Yeah.
also, here's this picture makes me want to kill myself. And it's like,
And then here's a reel about the train.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, look at the trains, look at the people. And then the next one's like, God, I love being alive. It's like all over the place. But I think that's the best way to capture what it is I'm feeling when I have my camera on me.
Yeah.
Because all these things are direct reflections of what it is I'm feeling in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the previous interview you did with your friend, how music is like a big factor in a lot of things. And I agree. I like to listen to jazz music a lot.
Yeah.
Jazz and just random stuff. But jazz is usually the one that I always keep in mind. And it influences the way that I do my movements with my wrist and all that.
Yeah.
So abstract in the sense that it takes from everywhere and has no real logic.
Yeah.
As long as it hits some kind of emotion that I was going for and feeling at the time, then I think I succeeded as a photographer.
That's pretty good then.
Yeah.
Do you All right, so we're gonna go back to the BS podcast time period.
Okay.
Not the actual podcast, but the time period because that's when we met.
Mm-hmm.
We met through NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like now compared to that point in time when we met, is it like very different the kind of things you're thinking about and trying to do? Because at that time, you had your first set of NFTs
Yeah.
out and you were working on your second set.
Yeah.
So do you think like your mindset has changed since then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you still doing it for the NFT or is it now more for yourself or like what?
So even before then, the pictures that I used for NFTs were for myself to begin with.
Yeah.
Like the ones of the car and the ski masks.
Yeah.
Those are all me.
The was it the ski mask? I want to say
Ski
adventures.
mask memories.
Ski mask memories.
Yeah,
There you go. I remember
those
that,
were all
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And those are just like coincidentally, I was like, I guess I'll just turn into NFTs. I kind of fuck with them.
Yeah.
But then I did find myself in this constant thing like, oh shit, as you go through your feed, everyone's like making NFTs and everyone's thinking, it's like,
Yeah.
damn, these guys are selling. Maybe I should start leaning into that. Kind of like the whole Instagram thing again, where it's like, you only want to post bangers,
Yeah.
but then you only do it in the criteria that fits the said thing that you're trying to do it for. And then you start losing bits and pieces of yourself.
Yeah.
Caught myself there. And slowly I weaned off of NFTs. Or I weaned off of making my own NFTs. I went into buying them.
Yeah.
Because I collect. I love to collect shit whenever
He's
I
a
can.
whale. Anyways, yeah.
I'm poor. I'm broke. But like I went into collecting more.
Yeah.
And photography became like my thing. And I even at some point, like when I got off of Twitter and NFT and all that, I was doing photography still, but I wasn't posting on Instagram either. It was kind of all for me.
Yeah.
And that was a moment where I was also self-reflecting a lot, where it's like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? Like, where am I going? Where is anything going?
Yeah.
And, in the moments that you can't answer these questions yourself, the best thing to do is go outside and look at what life is presenting you in the moment. And lo and behold, I lucked out and I have a fucking camera. So why wouldn't I use my camera to answer life's biggest questions, right? Why do I feel like shit today? And then I take a picture of the sunset hitting a trash can and I go, huh, maybe I'm the trash can and I'm just not looking at the beauty that the sunset has provided me. Recontextualize my whole life. Through that is where I'm like at now.
Yeah.
I use that same lens to kind of move forward with my photography. And with that switch in mindset comes the switch in everything that I felt with Twitter and with now.
Yeah.
Now I kind of see that I lost myself through NFTs and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
but because I did it wrong, not because I think it's a wrong thing.
Yeah.
Because all the people who are doing it still doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
And doing. Like,
Because
putting
now I
out the
feel like
thing.
that whole like, hey, I'm here for the money thing kind of died out now.
It did, absolutely.
And now everybody who's there, like as you said, is there for the art.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I like that too. Like I hop back on Twitter from time to time
Yeah.
just to look at what's going on.
Yeah.
And but I could definitely tell that it's quiet in comparison to when we were both on there. It was
Yes.
loud. It was moving. It was like so much stuff.
And the quality stayed.
Yeah.
Anything that was of
Well,
quality.
no, there was like, I was gonna say
yeah,
of quality.
anything of quality stayed and stuck through and made it to the top. That's the biggest difference.
And you've always been interested in the quality stuff and the artwork stuff.
Yeah, from
too.
like the collecting aspect of it for sure. But I don't. I think at that point though, I was not making quality. I don't think I was making good.
We only had that one set. That was really good. All I remember is that you bought a pig mask, and then that was the last thing.
It's funny. I actually did try to do that photo shoot like maybe a couple months back.
Really?
But I did not come out the way I wanted to, so I think I have to double back on it eventually.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Like do something, you fuck it up, doesn't look good, you go back and do it again whenever you want. And I really like that part of it.
That's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it was crazy time back then. I mean, I ended up doing NFTs, but more out of like, I felt like everybody else was doing it, so I should do it.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I was like not promoting myself whatsoever, not doing shit.
Right, you kind of were just hanging out with us.
Yeah, I was hanging out with you guys, but I was trying to be part of it because I felt FOMO.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but I also kind of wanted to like do it like for the art of it.
Right.
And but it's always hard because it's like you have to be louder than the person next to you. And that's like what made it so difficult because it's like
the selling yourself part.
the selling yourself part, but now you have to like really shout. It's like, hey, I'm selling myself. Like
it's like marketing on another level.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. That was something that a lot of people didn't like pointing out in the space where it's like a lot of this shit is marketing.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people who are at the top currently, people are going to crucify me. Please. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. But a lot of the people that are at the top of the photography thing in NFTs were pumping out garbage pictures. I was never impressed with half of the people who were making millions of dollars off of photography.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is it? This is like a swag picture they used to put on like Instagram back in like fucking when I was in middle school. Or high school. It wasn't special. But what happened? They knew how to market themselves.
Yeah.
They were first and they were just like, not only am I first, but swag picture. And then it's like, oh fuck, what the hell? And everyone jumped on. And then I think it discouraged a lot of people who came in after who were just not on. It's not that they were bad at marketing. It's just that the market had already moved past them.
Yeah.
And it already selected the chosen few that it wanted to keep up at the top because it had already made them money. And then it turned into an investor game. And then it slowly sucked out all the art from it.
Yeah.
And now people were just like, please buy my. Can you spare a couple of ETH? And it's like, I can't, buddy. I'm poor too. Like, we're all poor.
And I was gonna say, and then ETH dropped, and a lot of the cryptocurrency dropped, and I think like a lot of people exited there. Yeah.
A lot of people stepped out of it.
Yeah, it was always weird. I don't know. I never, like I said, I never got too deep into it, even though I was like in there. But I was just like.
Do you consider that a good thing that you never got too deep into it?
I'm one of those people that I never get too deep into much, to be really honest. I'm always so surface level on so many things. It's kind of weird. I'm thankful that I was never that deep in NFTs, but at the same time, I also wish I was a little bit more part of it because, like, the group that we were in, for example, like, I feel like I was connected to them, but I was also disconnected because I wasn't as deep as everybody else. And so it's like, as much as I love our friends on there, I also felt like I wasn't too much part of the group as well. I don't know.
Right.
So if anything, I'm more sad that I wasn't as deep in it, not for the money or for the art, but just for the friends.
Okay, yeah.
That sounds weird.
The connection. No,
yeah,
you know what?
It was more of the connection, yeah. And it's like, oh, there's other photographers aside from the people that I meet in the streets or on Instagram, and like these guys actually care about like our group cares about our photography. They care about what they actually do, and a lot of them are still pumping out NFTs or still pumping out like their photography, taking pictures, and like I appreciate that, and like I'm happy with that. So like that's the only kind of like regret kind of thing. But aside from that, like
also, but you came out with a lot of that.
Yeah, I came out.
We're all still friends.
Yeah, exactly. So they came here and we never talked ever again after that.
So.
And that was your saying. You said that too, right when we picked up. When we picked up two of our friends from the airport, you were like, you know what's going to be funny? It's like right after this, we're not going to talk to each other ever again. And then
boy, can I call it?
You called
if
it.
there's one thing I can do is call it.
We still talk to each other on like Instagram and sometimes on Twitter. It's just You know, I feel like it's also different, like I said, from the whole
Yeah.
NFT space kind of going down.
Yeah.
But everybody definitely went back to their photography roots, similar to what you did.
Yeah.
So I think that's always really cool about it. And then it's like now I feel like everybody is pursuing their style a lot more, and I think that's what's really good about this whole kind of like
Yeah.
crash on it.
That was super important.
Yeah.
Because it really did give everyone a moment to draw back and figure out what it is that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because the money's not here anymore. So now what's here?
Yeah.
We are.
I mean, there's still money. It's just not as much
Yeah.
as it used to be.
Yeah.
Make bank while you were up there. I feel like anybody who got out during that high point, they're the ones
They
who
lucked out.
they lucked out.
They
Yeah.
fucking made it. Do you still do shows? I
Art
remember you
shows?
used to do like art shows and all
I
that.
may or may not be planning on partially displaying some of it. The problem is, and it goes right back to the marketing thing, I'm really bad at marketing myself. And so when I did the previous art shows, I never made a dime. I never sold any of my stuff. And so that really discouraged me because it's like, okay, is my stuff not good? Am I in the wrong place? Am I talking to the wrong people? And it kind of like scared me off from that. And I was like, and also I spent too much money. I spent like over $1,000 trying to make it work. Like I did different shows. I I custom made frames and my pictures printed and all that stuff. Like I went really high end to make sure that I am providing
Right, like
quality.
quality.
Exactly, because I want to make sure it's like somebody buys my picture, it's gonna last a while.
Yeah.
It's quality work, and it's like you put it on your wall, you're gonna be happy with it. But I think the problem was I didn't market myself right, or I didn't market myself well. I'm good at building relationships and making friends, but doing that execution of like, so buy my stuff, that's where I struggle.
That's a big part of it, which is
Yeah.
weird because you're extroverted,
Yeah.
right? That was like a whole thing. Like I'm the introverted one, you're the extroverted one.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a good people person. You're funny. You're like
Yeah.
you're a charming man.
Thank you.
So it's surprising that people weren't just like, what the hell? I'll buy this from you.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. Do you think now? Knowing what you know now?
Yeah.
What would you go back and do with the information that you have now? What would you have done different?
Definitely picked my shows a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't know, and try to, and as messed up as it sounds saying it out loud, spin my story a different way. I feel like my story was like, it's still the same story. I think I just got to say it a different way. The story was with those photos was like, hey, I'm a 9 to 5er. I have a regular job. I have, my girl, and I don't have time for my photography. But what ends up happening is I was so stressed at that time and so in my head, and like I was just depressed. And the only kind of escape I found was doing street photography. But because I have a 9 to 5, I could only do it at night. So after work. And so my work was called after hours because that's the only time I had to do anything. It was after hours, after my family, after work, after my girl, after everything is done. Now I could actually like do something for myself.
And in the same way, showing off the after hours of what people don't usually see.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
And so
yeah,
it was
no,
like,
your work was beautiful.
yeah, so like that was the conception of my work, but nobody ever bought anything, and I made a plaque and wrote it. So now I'm like, if I am gonna do this show again, I'm only gonna sell. I'm probably only gonna do my car pieces instead of my after hours pieces. They are bigger and they take up too much space in my basement.
Okay.
But like it's just like at the same time, I feel like that's the only two that are really gonna get noticed and maybe bought. And I feel like those have the best chances versus everything else. I don't think people are that interested in. I don't know. Like that's the weird part. It's like I'm really bad at selling myself. I could talk to you about my photography and stuff, but
You gotta
trying
find.
to make you actually want this photo and buy it. That's the problem I have.
That's a big thing.
And that's the problem I had in the NFT community. Is like I don't
Yeah.
know how to. I could talk to you about it, and I have no problem talking about it. But now it's like, so you want to buy one? That part is like,
And then they're just like, huh?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Wait, you're selling stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, that's what.
It's like it's not just a pretty picture. You can
Right.
have this on your wall too.
Right.
So yeah.
No, you're right. That's big. Also, like finding a niche
Yeah.
is the biggest. That's a huge thing too.
Yeah.
The places that you were doing shows, what was it? Was it mainly just photography stuff?
No, it was
It
art.
was everything.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because it's like everybody there is an artist in their own right, and they all have different styles. And here I
Right.
am, the photographer, and we've talked about this before. People have this really bad lens or look at photography where they think it's just a push of a button, and then like you put that up against like 1,000 photographers or like probably 50 other artists there who drew, who painted, who did the whole entire works, like all that. It's kind of like I
It's
feel like it devaluated me and my
right.
work and all that stuff because it's like, here's people with physical talent and skills that of drawing, and I'm really bad at drawing, so I have to use my camera as my thing to draw.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like
Painting with light and all
exactly.
that.
But then I did a photography show and nobody showed up.
God, it's such a polarizing
You
like
see what
thing.
I mean? This is
Yeah.
my problem. So it's like, how can I make this fine art without it being very fine artish?
Right. Oh, I bet if people caught a glimpse of you, like you made like a little video of you at a 9 to 5, grayed out, like black and white film.
Yeah.
And you're just like tapping away at a keyboard and then you stop and you start crying. And then you go.
I'm not emotional like that.
I know you're not, but
You
we're gonna
are,
have to
not
fucking
me.
wet your eyes, dude. We're gonna have to like throw water in your eyes.
Yeah.
And then you look to the side and it's just your camera glistening and you're just like, and everything turns to color and then people will be like, oh, I get it now. But that's what I think it takes. It needs. I don't think people humanize photographers until
I know.
they're like, oh, you're telling me you only wasted 1 second to take that picture, and it's like, dude, but I had to take the 7 train. I had to fucking walk around
And also, I took like 1,000 other photos tonight. This is the
to
only
get
good
the
one.
perfect one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, okay, buddy. And
But
it's
then
like,
that's the other problem is, and back to the other conversation, the market is oversaturated.
super.
And so everybody who has an iPhone thinks they're a photographer.
Yeah.
Yo, I hate that. There's people that come up to me and I'm like, yeah, I'm a photographer. And they're like, oh, yeah, so am I. Look, here are the photos I take on my phone. And then it's like selfies. And I'm like, oh my God. I hate that so much. You have no idea. I'm like, no, look, like, okay, you like taking photos, but don't call yourself a photographer if you're taking photos on your phone of selfies or of your ass or
Do you
whatever.
think that's the separation though? Like
People don't separate it. That's the
no,
problem.
I know, but that's where the separation should be. Where it's like, you can be an iPhone photographer so long as you're like implementing it properly.
I mean,
right?
yeah, or at
Because
least
as long as
trying
you're doing,
to.
like, yeah, if you're doing the technical stuff,
Yeah.
you're editing the pictures on your iPhone, then yes, if you say you're a photographer and you're going that length,
Yeah.
cool. But you're right. If it's just like wiener picture and like and you just adjust the brightness and they're like, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like, well, I'm not gonna call you a photographer.
Yeah, but it's like, but you know, so many social media influencers, so many
Right,
like
right.
other photographers, and then you have Instagram, which is only photos.
Yeah,
Everybody's a photographer, so it's like that devaluated everything, you know?
a lot. Yeah.
So it's like
become so mind numbing that people just scroll past it because
exactly.
they've already seen it.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing. A lot of people don't realize like how many times people have seen some of the pictures that we've taken.
Yeah.
Like, and not in the context, not that it's a negative thing, but it's like I'm sure there's pictures that I've taken that a shit ton of other people have taken.
Yeah.
And it may not be exactly the same, but it's enough for people to go.
Yeah, it's the
Just
same. And
water.
even though, like you said before, it's like, okay, I was thinking about food. I don't know what this other guy was thinking
Yeah.
about and all that stuff. It's like, okay, it might be similar photos, but there's two different stories here and you're not grasping
Exactly.
either of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I hate that too. So it's like, yeah, the art shows were really difficult for all these reasons. I don't sell myself. I don't know how to market. Photography isn't seen as in such a great light as it used to be. I
Right.
think with like film photographers is like nobody did it unless you knew how to operate the camera
And develop your own film.
and develop your own film. Well, you could do the like 1 hour developing. I don't know if
Oh,
that
yeah.
existed in the 60s or not, but like, you know, like, yeah, you had to develop your own film or go somewhere special to develop it. Even though it's cheap to kind of do, it's still like you still need to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what made you stick out. Is like you know how to do it and you know how to make a story out of it. So it's like, yeah, I have difficulty with that. So it's like, if I do this show, like I'm still thinking about, it's like if I do this show and spend another
Mhm.
$250 to get a piece of the wall, it's like I'm gonna have to pull out only ones that aren't even part of my story, but just look nice.
Right, just for the sake of like,
Yeah.
come on, like someone has to buy it.
Exactly. And so it's like, and that's what makes me scared to do it. Is like, because now if like they don't buy it, now I just spent another $250, $300 for nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like I don't feel comfortable doing it as much anymore.
Right, because at that point you're kind of wondering, like, damn, is it even worth it? Like,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be at a net loss, it really does make you think, like, oh,
Exactly.
like I'm putting my heart and soul into this.
Or it's not
people
even
are
that loss.
saying-
Like I'm trying to just break even, and I can't. And then I
Right.
even have my website has my print on there, but I don't market myself as much either. So it's like, if those haven't sold either, it's like my self confidence in selling
It's
is
just-
like, yeah, it's on the floor.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that is like it makes it hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I
Do you
mean-
think that? Do you think that affects your work?
No,
No.
those
You're,
are
like,
two
solid.
different.
That's the one solid foundation, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like it doesn't matter where market, nothing means shit to me.
Exactly. I mean, it's like
Interesting.
you know, I'll be honest, if I'm doing it, it's more for the income.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I want that extra income.
Right.
But is that really going to change my style of photography? No. Like, I'm
Okay,
still going to do how
absolutely.
I want to, and I'm going to still take photos, and I'm still going to post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, if I am going to print anymore, I'm going to have to choose wiser. I'm going to have to come up with a more solid concept that more
Mm,
people can grasp, make it easier to, you know, think about, I guess, and things like that. So it's like, if I'm going to do that again, I'm going to have to do a lot more extra work.
right.
So it's like, I don't know. Still thinking about it.
Yeah,
Aside from, what about you? Do you think like you ever want to sell any of your photos as prints, or like aside from NFTs?
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if you are you gonna do NFTs again.
so funny enough, today I just bought more Ethereum after like months, but not for anything, just because I had an extra $30 and I was like, throw it into Ethereum. Why
I
not?
don't need the 30. Fuck
Yeah, Ethereum. Why not? But I don't think I'll do NFTs again.
it. Yeah.
And as far as prints go, I never really thought about it. I I I I have an issue with marketing myself for sure.
Yeah.
I have an issue with just putting myself out there in general because I'm introverted. So
Yeah.
it may not seem like it, but wah, 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 wah. But I don't think it takes away anything from me at all. Not in the what am I trying to say here? Let me think it out.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't market myself not because I'm shy
Yeah.
currently. It's just because I don't want to. Like I'm not thinking about selling prints.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not worried about finding customers for photo shoots because I have like the recurring few that are just like, hey, $300 and you'll chill with me for 2 hours, take pictures. Yeah, I'm not picking up any more clients. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
Photography has literally just been for me by myself.
Yeah.
And that's all I need it to be at the moment. Will there be a point in time where I'll be like, all right, let's take this to the next level, and I'll start taking pictures, maybe thing and like implementing everything that I've learned, like for long exposure and double exposures, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe for sure. Or if there's like dream shoots that I got to get out of the way that I want to use concepts for, maybe. But at the moment, I think I'm in such a good, pleasant spot
Yeah.
that I just feel so good. Like I am successful as a photographer, and people are gonna be like, "What? You don't even? Are you even making money selling prints? Are you in books?" No, it's not about that.
Yeah.
I've succeeded because I've taken pictures where people have DM'd me and go,
That's good.
"This picture made me feel something."
Yeah.
That's all I ever wanted. The fact that someone looked at any of my pictures and goes, "This one made me feel really sad," it reminded me, and they go back into a memory. I did it. I won.
Yeah.
I beat them. I beat the game. I did it. I beat it.
Yeah, you're there for the emotional connection to
Yeah.
it, and I think that's really good. I think that's always something that more people should focus on. It's like
Yeah.
trying to develop that emotional. I think that's what's missing for my photography. It's like there is no emotional connection in my street photos,
Mm.
and I think that's what it is. Because it's like it's just dark night photos about the little bits of light in the darkness. But I don't think there's nobody's gonna reach out and be like, oh wow, like this photo made me think about
Right.
my
Like
family
specific.
member or anything like that. You know.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, interesting. Do you think that would like make you? Have you ever thought about implementing more stuff like that into it?
Yeah, no. It's like if I do it, the problem is then it's constructed. Like
Right,
I
and then
have
it's
to
not very like street photography. Right.
exactly. Well, it's like it was
Well,
still kind of street photography, but
right.
now it's like I'm putting a model in
Yeah,
some
you're
costume
right.
to do
You're right.
this, and I feel like you kind of lose the fun of it. I guess I like the spontaneous part of it,
Right.
but then if I do that, then I definitely want to grab a model, do a studio, do like
Yeah. Do
the
the whole
lighting,
thing.
do the whole 9 yards, but that's what I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm the whole technical lighting, the whole thing
Yeah.
guy.
That's like your
So
thing.
for me,
Yeah.
it's like super fun. When I'm in the street, it's like I just capture whatever is out there and I just kind of like leave it as is, and then I post it and whatever
Yeah.
and move on to the next one. So
Oh, curiously, if you can give up one or the other, which one would you do?
fuck no.
Oh, too big a question. Oh god. Oh god.
I do this full time, so I have to say that I'll do the portrait studio
Okay.
ones because I could get
Yeah.
paid for that.
Okay, so if money wasn't
If money wasn't
the
the issue, I'd probably give up the portraits.
mm,
Yeah, I probably continue just doing street photography. You give me a Metro card and an unlimited Metro card,
everywhere.
I'll be everywhere.
Okay.
I'll be fine. But it's like,
Oh.
yeah, because it's like I said, since I do this full time, I've had to drop a little bit of the creative side and pick up more of that business side. Because it's like now it's like, oh, dude, I have a mortgage. Like I gotta pay this
Right.
monthly, and
There's
I
like
have
an urgency behind it.
there's an urgency. Like I have a mortgage. I have to eat. I have to pay the Metro card for me to get into the city. I
Yeah.
have a
Yeah,
car. I need to pay for gas insurance and all that. So it's like, um, you know, that's like the one bad part. It's like, oh, I have to drop a little bit of my creativity to pick up more of that, pick up more income so I could pay my bills and be okay. Um, where in like the street photography, I could continue doing that, but it's just more of a long run game because now it's like, okay, if I'm gonna do street photography full time and not do portraits, now I have to, once again, and it's like selling myself. I have to sell
Right.
myself, figure out a concept, put
Yeah.
this concept together, sell prints, sell book.
Yeah.
You know, if I can sell a book, great. You know, but then I gotta still top that because it's like I can only sell books and prints for this moment, but now I gotta look for the next print.
Right.
So if money was not the issue and I could do everything for myself, it's 100% street. And even then, I could grab a model and do some street
That is
photography.
true. Yeah.
And I'm out with my friends, and I'll turn my friends into models and be like, stand over there,
Yeah.
and we like have
That
fun.
is true. That is
So it's
super
like
true.
that's how I think about it. But yeah, I mean, because now it's like I live here, so
Right,
now
right,
there's urgency. Now I have
right.
to like, oh, I have to push myself. I hate it.
Right. There's like a whole new level to that.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're not like doing this right now.
Yeah,
So,
me too. And the fact that I'm thinking about it is kind of like scary, but like,
I think in your case, you could probably do a book.
yeah,
Do a book, you know, and then just like put it together for yourself. Do it like our friend
zine.
Daniel. Yeah, I have a zine. It's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, I have it too.
Yeah, the Route 66.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have it.
I love it so much. It's actually super nice.
Shout out to Daniel.
Hell yeah. And I think with your stuff, you could probably put a nice book together, and then like see if you could find somewhere where it's like you can buy like a few copies and just sell those, and I think you'll be fine.
That would be pretty sick.
$300 for one book.
That's all. The book title is "How I Made $1 Million with One Book." $1 million book.
Yeah, but I could see you working like a fine art gallery in the future and stuff like that.
Funny enough, I got offered an opportunity to
I
do
hate you
that,
so
and no one. This is like big. No one knows about it, but they did offer me like a connections are.
Yeah,
Oh, such a. Oh, that's another. Thing
I
we
think
could
that's the
talk about.
thing. It's like connection.
That's another big thing we could talk about. But coincidentally, I knew someone with a gallery, like has a friend with a gallery, and they were interested in like presenting some of my work because they like it. It was mainly like the long exposure stuff,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, nah.
No.
I think I'm good. Like I don't think I've made anything deserving of a gallery yet.
I think you have. I think you have gallery style work. That's what I'm saying.
Thank
you can make a book
you.
because like you have gallery style work.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But in the moment, you know what?
Yeah.
This was also like a while back. This is before. This is pre, whatever the fuck confidence I got. that was pre that. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a hard no. Like give it to someone who like is needing it, like wants it.
Yeah.
So it never came about. But I was just like, that was like a big thing. But I think the fact that it was offered to me was a big like. It did help my confidence a lot when it came to that.
Yeah.
I was just like, someone said, gallery branding.
I think like I said, yeah, your stuff can exist in a gallery, and as long as you're in the right location, I think a lot of people have eyes on your stuff. It's just one of those things. Like,
Yeah.
but I think, and this is gonna sound fucked up. It's like I think that it's easier for people in experimental, abstract kind of things to get into galleries versus like.
It's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
It's the most. It's the thing that can be sold right now.
Yeah, because it's like I'm looking at all these previous photographers like Stephen Shore and William Eggleston. Like they had pretty plain fucking photos, you know. Like, and I'm not saying like bad, and like,
Yeah.
but like William Eggleston, nobody liked it at beginning because it was too mundane.
Right.
But it was like so abstract that it ended up in the MoMA, and
it
now
was,
it's like
new. It was so,
exactly.
like,
But now
fresh.
somebody does that today, and everybody's just like, dude, I saw that on Instagram yesterday. Like, what are you talking about? So it's like, but then
No, you're
experimental
right.
photography still pushes that envelope enough where it's like it could be done in any gallery.
Yeah, because it's what people are looking for, and it's the only thing that would make people right now turn their head and go, like scroll
That's
back
different.
up and go, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
That guy, wah 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 wah, and it's like, yeah, that guy, wah wah wah. For sure.
Yeah.
You're right though. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the niche.
It is.
That's
It's
the
a
niche.
niche thing. You're right, and luckily enough, the niche is for the upper class. The upper class loves that shit.
Yeah, and just as you said, it's like the niching plus the connections,
Mhm.
and connections is
Ooh.
so much.
So important.
I feel like I have the right and wrong connections at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like I have connections, but either I'm not using them right or I don't have the right connections and I'm not connecting with the right people.
For, oh, wait, I kind of feel that. For me, it's I'm not aware I have connections till like the very last moment. They're like,
Yeah.
they have to blatantly tell me
Yeah.
that, hey, I have an opportunity for you, or else I'm gonna be like, same thing with relationships. If they don't tell me they like me, but like I am so fucking like I do not process these things, but connections are so important to have.
Yeah.
And
But
a
I
lot
hate
of
that too.
photography
I hate that
events
it's like the only way up is through connections.
yeah, yeah. It's because of how commercialized it is.
Yeah,
The art world
absolutely.
in general is so commercialized that it needs to be done by connection to get anywhere. It lost its core meaning of like art is being done for the sake of art.
Yeah.
It's like art. The person who created the art for sure is probably like majority of them probably doing it because they love the art.
Yeah, yeah.
But the people that are selling it, putting it in galleries, their intentions are to make a profit.
Yeah.
Your goal is to find yourself in between, like in the crossfire of the person there. That's like the big thing for it right now. And I get like making connections on the ground level too, where everyone is making art.
Yeah.
It's important, but a lot of people miss the fact that you have to also be friends. You know, like
Yeah.
people can smell when you're making connections for the sake of making a connection.
Absolutely.
For the sake of a follow, a lot of people will go to like a lot of these photography events and be like, follow me, follow back, follow me, follow back, and then that's it. And it's
Yeah.
like, do you think people remember you after you say that? They don't. They don't fucking care afterwards. If anything, it annoys me when people do that to me, where it's like they'll DM me saying, "I followed you. Can you follow me back?" And it's like,
Oh, dude,
I don't
I ignore
fucking
those
know
so
you.
fast.
Yeah, it's like I don't fucking know
And then you look
you.
at their file and you're like, nah, never mind.
Like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, why are you DMing me about this? And it's like,
Yeah.
if you came about this the right way and said, hey, I'm into your photography, and maybe we talked about it a bit, you know, stroke my ego or whatnot, and then I'll go, shit, let me check out your work. That's how it should work, and then we can give each other ideas off of each other's work,
Yeah.
and we build up this friendship and like this camaraderie because we're two artists making art for the sake of art. Now we're getting somewhere. That's a connection.
Yeah.
Just going, dude, nice fucking picture, fire emoji.
Yeah.
And then leaving it at that, that's not a real thing. That's just a comment and a like. That doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people end up in that. And they never move out of that because they never see past that. Because that is the ideal photographer, the Instagram photographer.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I love going to museums and getting these books and like actually going to galleries and seeing the actual people.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's still those things where it's like the people who are still doing it for the art, and there's the same problem I'm having. It's like you still have to develop that business side, and you still have to develop that like business connection. It's like because you can have a lot of this is where I'm at. This is the problem I have. I have a lot of friends that are artists. They're great artists. They're amazing. They have amazing work, but I don't have any business connections that can actually supplement my work currently, like my event photography and stuff like that.
Right.
And so it's like, and then it sucks because then it's like, you see other people. I don't want to say who, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but like with shit photography or shit artwork, and they're like,
And they're at the top. They're like, they're being sold. They're
yeah,
being,
and I'm
getting
just like,
promoted.
God damn, like how? And like, you know, it's like, and so, I don't know, connections are so.
Also, it's okay to be a fucking hater. It's cool. It's fine. It's what makes the world go round.
Yeah, that too. You use the hate to influence, to motivate you to do better.
Hate, criticism, all that.
Yeah, I accept criticism. I have a lot of criticism
Yeah.
on my YouTube channels. I'm like, all right, fair point.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
People
Like,
forget how important
I
it
wanna
is
do better.
to say you don't like a picture.
yeah,
That like it's okay to say you don't like a picture.
dude, I think that's the problem. We need a dislike button on Instagram.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that will even the playing field so fast.
You're right. No, it is such a big thing.
Now I'm afraid because if we did get a dislike button, all my fucking photos are gonna go down.
I got 5 likes and then it's like 500 dislikes.
Yeah.
Ah!
Right.
No, God, delete.
I like the way YouTube does it. YouTube has a like button and then they have the dislike button, but you can't see how many number of dislikes you got. You could just see the percentage.
Oh wait, yeah,
So it's like 94% likes. And you're like, who the fuck is the 6%?
yeah.
Like,
If you think waking up at night, you're like.
but they don't say it's like 50. But they tell you
Yeah.
like you got 50 likes, but they won't say like you got 6 dislikes or
Right.
anything like that. So,
Yeah, that's important. I think
Yeah.
that's good.
but yeah, like going back, it's like like if you're not an Instagram photographer, then who are you or whatever? And I hate that. And then it goes right back to the art conversation. It's like I feel like that's what people expect when they see the photos on the wall. Like my photos. They're expecting an Instagram photographer. They don't understand that I actually put a lot of work into one of these photos alone.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the whole.
The separation thing again, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, a big thing to point out. I think a lot of people are also scared of having this kind of like discourse or discussion in general, where it's like you're allowed to talk about all these things. There's no such thing as pretentious conversation.
Yeah.
Like this is an important thing that keeps art and the world moving forward. Where you're allowed to criticize people's work, you're allowed to say all these things, and there should be there, well, there should it could debatable. There is a bar, and at some point, it separates people taking pictures and thing, and then fine art photographers. I think
Yeah.
there is because if everyone is a photographer, then no one is. I hate that I said that because that's a quote that my friends say for like we say it for stupid shit. Like if everyone's eating macaroni, no one is. And it's like,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
it's so
essentially,
true.
yeah. And it's like, and it's okay to say you don't like a picture. It's okay to say no. It's okay. Like all these things are okay. Like all these negative aspects of this world, to some degree, are okay as long as you don't take it to an extreme, right?
Yeah.
As long as you don't shit on someone's dreams. Like as long as they, isn't this a perfect picture? You can say, hey, like I don't personally like if you like it that much, I'm fucking happy.
I think
with
it's
you.
delivery.
Yeah.
You have to work on
Yeah.
delivery because you could be like, "Hey, is this a shit picture?" And you'd be like, "It's not my taste, but I think it's
Right.
an okay picture." For
As
me,
opposed
it's
to
just
saying,
not like the
glad
best.
you said it, not me, buddy. 'Cause
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
What the
It
hell?
reminds me of a story, and I said this on the last thing. I don't know what to call this, anyways. On the last episode with Lewis, William Michelson. He's so far. I just did the video on him, and I did my deep dive on him, kind of. He had this moment, and going right on what you were saying, he met his idol, who was Henry Cartier-Bresson, like very famous black and white photographer.
Oh right, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I looked up the specific quote is Henry Cartier-Bresson said to William Eggleston, "Color is bullshit." He literally said, "Color photography is bullshit." These are his exact words. And William Eggleston looked at him, grabbed his, because they were at the party, grabbed his plate and went to go talk to a girl across the room. And then he's like, fuck, like, don't meet your idols. But, like, you know, he used that as his own motivation, and he ended up in the MoMA anyways, and having books and creating different types of artwork and, like, all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, I think we do need, like, a little bit of that. I don't want to, like, negative feedback in a way that helps you improve.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, constructive criticism. You got to be able to also separate that professional and personal side of yourself as well, which I don't think people do whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been phased out completely because everyone's just
so you don't like my work, you don't like me.
Right. They can't separate themselves from that. And you know what? I get it because work is directly reflective as to who you are.
Exactly.
And everything like that. Ooh, that's another big topic that. Oh God, hot takes everywhere.
Yeah, welcome to the BS podcast.
Right. But like, yeah, people really need to learn that criticism is okay.
Yeah.
Like as long as no one's actually attacking you and being like, hey, this picture's shit and you're shit. Fuck you. You're fine. If someone's saying that they don't like the thing, you can take that and you can say, I don't think that applies. Or you can say, hey, you know what? You might be onto something, and let it evolve.
Yeah.
Let your work evolve with said criticisms or not said criticisms, and get you to a point where you're satisfied with your work. Then good. Then we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just, like I said, well, people also have to work on the deliveries. Some people are not, I wouldn't even call them blunt. They're just like negative, period.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. Well, like you said, it's one of those things where it's like the photography is reflective of ourselves.
Yeah.
But if you can remember that art is subjective, right? There is no objective truth in art, I guess. Then, you know, if you're able to remember that and separate the two, you're able to accept that criticism. And then also think about it, it's like, okay, if they're criticizing the whole piece altogether, that just means it's not their taste. If they're criticizing something within that piece that maybe they don't like, then that's actually a good criticism.
That's a gem. Y'all write that down. That's a gem.
Yeah. That's how I think about it. So it's like, you know, even with my videos or with my photos, I'm like, okay, the person's saying they don't like these specific parts. And I'm like, okay, but overall, you said it's also nice. So I guess you're good.
Yeah.
Now I just got to work on those parts. I don't know.
Right. There you go. That's big. Damn. You're dropping knowledge. Shit.
If everybody's doing photography, nobody's doing photography.
Yeah, no, it
so, well, who's dropping? Who's dropping knowledge?
Oh man.
We need criticism. We need a dislike button on Instagram.
Criticism.
I wonder, like, what would happen to celebrities if we got a dislike button? Everybody just disliked Kim K's photos and all that.
I think it would be a good thing, right?
I don't know.
I think it would be spun into a good thing where it's like, well, at least the haters are paying attention too.
Yeah. Like
Which
you
is
said, everybody
true,
needs haters. Haters are good.
Haters are a great thing.
Yeah.
Haters are a great
thing. The more they say your name, the better it is for you.
Exactly. Because what's the thing they say? Bad publicity is still publicity.
Yeah.
Always. Always. Granted, there's a way you can take it too far too, but like,
Oh, absolutely. There's some people that are just like,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
so I'm
they
curious,
just.
what other inspiration do you use for your photography? Are there any like things outside of books and like?
Uh, so it goes right back to the conversation that kind of started this whole tangent. I don't look too much at modern photographers anymore because I feel like there's so many similar ones. And, I see my work similar to other people's, and I'm like, shit, like, I want to do something different. So that's why I'm looking at classic photographers and looking at photography books of like older generations because I'm trying to figure out how they can make it without any social media
Yeah.
and then like kind of adopt that for myself. And because once again, it's like I have to kind of think businessy at the same time I'm
Right.
thinking
That's it.
creatively. So I'm trying to figure out how they did it. But like currently, modern day, I would probably say like Annie Leibovitz and Lindsay Adler for the fashion because I really love fashion photos. Um, but I could see myself doing it differently from them. But but I don't know if they're inspiration or they're just my goal.
Oh.
You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
okay. Yeah.
So it's like their photos are amazing. They're they have great ideas, great concepts in there. I don't think I would take the same photo though. So it's like, but I don't see myself taking photos like them. But I see myself taking pieces of their stuff and putting it into my photos, and then to get to the goal as to be to the level they're at.
Right.
So that's where it's like kind of weird to me because it's like I don't look at other photographers' work as much anymore, except for our friends because A, I respect them, and B, some of them actually have good work. Actually, all of them have good work. I don't know who doesn't. Um, and then the classic photographers is just like something that's timeless.
Yeah.
And that's like why I look at them as timeless.
Right.
They made it with no
They
social
stood
media.
the test of time
They
too.
stood the test of time, but also they had these great ideas that I feel like a lot of people forgot. And like it's like a lot of it's just mental attitude, or it's just like these simple kind of things that they did that like changed it. And then that's why I don't really have a specific inspiration. I just take pieces of every single thing around me and put it all together. I don't know. What about you? Any current ones? I know we talked about like the woman who did the luchador
Right.
and the other
And they're
person with
all
the black and
old
white.
photographers too.
Yeah.
So
Do
now
you
that I
see
think
them
of it,
as now? Do you see them as goals, or do you see them as inspiration, or like? Because now that I said that, now that I've
I
like,
see them as inspiration.
okay, yeah,
Like I think when I with the whole luchador stuff, it made me realize that I want to document more culture.
yeah,
Specifically luchador stuff, no, but it's like more like Guatemalan culture and everything like that. Like the whole transitional period made me look at my house in a more non-American lens.
yeah,
Because granted, I grew up born and raised here in Queens, uh, but it wasn't until I came back from my Guatemala trip recently that I was just like, look at all these Guatemalan things that are in my house that have been adapted to the American way,
yeah.
right?
I think the same thing in my house
Yeah,
too.
like look at this. Back in Guatemala, we're making paches on like a fucking outside stove made of wood and like barbell, and there's like charcoal, and we're
Hell
like
yeah,
making like in a little like dirt hut,
yeah.
not a dirt hut, like a stone hut. And
We just
here,
do it in the
mom,
middle of the street.
yeah, or yeah, and then here my mom is doing the same thing but on a stove,
yeah,
and it's like it's not that different. It's not that different at all. And that was like that one series that I was working on called what is it, Chapina Americana? Chapina Americana, which is Chapina is how you refer to Guatemalan people as like a nickname for Guatemalan people, like Chapinas.
okay. Like how we have parcero.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like a big thing where I was just like looking at all my American living and how much of it was influenced by Guatemala and
Yeah,
the ways that my breakfasts were having or happening in the decorations that are around the household and the way that they're mixed in with what I'm assuming other people have.
yeah,
But then I could be wrong, right? Because that was my normal. So that's a big inspiration. It definitely made me step back, take a beat, and go, "Wow, how did I not appreciate this earlier?"
yeah. I feel like the same way with mine, but my family has also become Americanized, which is
Mm-hmm.
very difficult. Um, I definitely want to go to Colombia and have a different experience because I feel like my family treats it too much like vacation.
Okay.
So when we go, it's like for the party or for the family or for whatever, but
Right.
I'm not experiencing my culture as I feel like I should be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also like I understand where you're coming from, and but I do want to learn more about my culture more in depthly.
Like the
And
roots, roots.
I'll tell you off camera because I'm working. I want to work. Oh no, I told you this. The project that I want to work on, the I'm talking about music from way earlier. Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That I want to work on that.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm still figuring that out because it's like that's gonna be, and I think you would be the perfect person to help me with that. So,
Yeah,
but
hell
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, where the fuck are we in this conversation?
Inspiration, like
No, I
about
know,
yeah, and
but
goal.
it's like yeah, man, I don't know, but I think it's like with books and with like looking at classic photographers, it's easier to get
Yeah,
inspiration compared to modern day photographers when everybody has very similar styles. It's hard to
yeah.
stand out and
Or even then
everybody's Instagrammy.
yeah, or even the modern photographers of like the modern famous photographers right now have
Yeah.
such a specific style to
Oh my
them.
God, they're so niche.
They're
That's like,
so niche, so it really
yeah,
does look like it's like, oh, this guy's just copying the famous one, and it's like, oh wow,
yeah,
like you really just get pigeonholed everywhere.
yeah, and
That's
that,
why it's best not to look,
yeah. I mean,
you
I'm on
know.
Instagram because, like, I feel like every modern day photographer has to,
Yeah,
because put out your work or like also so people can find you and stuff
yeah.
like that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how the hell did these guys do it in the '60s with freaking newspapers?
Messenger pigeons.
Cuckoo. New
Boom.
picture.
New picture just dropped.
Check out the MoMA
Send it to the
Friday night.
president. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. That easy.
Yeah, I really don't know. Honestly, like that. So I'm like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out how I can do it without the social media
Yeah.
aspect because I really don't post enough. But like, I'm also doing my YouTube channel, so I guess people will find me here and
Right. It's a
balance out
mixture of the
somehow.
two. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it
but
has
I'm
to.
also using the YouTube channel to learn more myself. There's so many classic photographers that we don't know about. Like today, I learned about the woman who does the luchador and the other person who does the black
Yeah.
and white long exposure. I didn't know about them, but
Yeah.
now I can like in the future use the book and learn more about them and explore something different.
Ooh. Now I just remembered another photographer.
There's so many, but we're short on time. But
Oh, I was gonna say Daido Moriyama, the Japanese photographer.
all I heard was
He.
Dio, and I think that's a
Oh.
whole different
no,
guy.
Daido Moriyama.
Daido
He's
Moria.
a Japanese street photographer,
Okay.
and that was also like inspiration of like just firing my camera. Like this man takes pictures and of everything, just anything, and I like the little idea where it's a quote. I'm not gonna quote it directly because I don't remember it that well, but he was just like it's like a little collaboration. He'll take the pictures, he'll send it to a lab. He has like no process in his developing. Um, he considers it a tiny collaboration with whoever develops the film, and that's what makes the pictures all the more beautiful.
Nice.
I think you'd like his work,
All right.
like a lot. Very important Japanese photographer too, because I think he was the start of a specific movement. I don't know what it's called. I'm uneducated in a lot of this. Please, I just know
I think
general.
you're fine.
Like,
You're good because
yeah.
I don't know him at all. So
But like, yeah, I'll send you like stuff. Like
all right.
his stuff is dope,
Yeah.
crazy dope. And that's where I started recently. Just when I take my Nikon F3 or my digital, sometimes I'm just like take the lens off and I'll just be like weird angles. I'll be like that shit looks cool, but what if like what if I did it from here and there? And I'll just like flick the camera switches, all of them,
Yeah.
different settings, and I'll just go for it. And
I
then
could
I'll
just
look
imagine how over and underexposed they
Dude,
can be.
yeah, it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
But it made me realize that that's fucking awesome. Makes it all the more better. Like all adding luck to the mix on a lot of these things makes it so much more fun.
I hope you know that secretly inside, deep down, I'm just thinking about the amount of fucking film you're going through, and I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
I'm
that
just
one's.
like, you're so rich because I cannot afford film.
I think that's why I like the Nikon F3 more because 36 shots is at least more like
Yeah, no, you have
palatable
more
versus
space, but
12,
it's still
dude.
expensive.
Imagine if it was the medium format, busting out 12 shots and going, well, that's it.
Yeah, right.
I just got here and
Well,
that's
even
it.
with that thing, by the time you switch your dial, it's like, oh wait.
Dude, it's so fucking much. Oh fuck, dude.
I only have 35s. I don't have any medium formats.
Good.
I want to get one though, but I want to get like a TL. What is it called? TLC? No, that's a group. TCL. Whatever.
Yeah, that's chasing waterfalls and whatnot.
Twin reflex lenses. There you go.
Oh,
TRLs.
the Rolleiflex?
Yeah, I like a Rolleiflex
Yeah.
or Yashica has them too, and I want to get one of those because I feel like those
You
are fun.
should definitely get one of those just because they're way lighter.
Yeah, I don't
And
want your break.
They have like actual camera straps and everything for that. Like they have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff for that. The bad thing about having an RB67 is what I came to realize way later on, like after using it for something, they don't have that many things for it. Like it's like hey.
Well, you have different lenses, right? That's the majority
Oh,
of it.
lenses is the big part, but like straps, handheld gear, like a lot of it's so niche, and a lot of it. I also have like the older model RB67.
Yeah.
So there's two models that came after it, And those apparently, hey, this has a hot shoe mount. And it's like, I didn't even fucking realize mine didn't have a hot shoe mount. So I'm just sitting there like, what the hell?
Damn. I didn't even know that either.
And the newer model ones don't have to get light seals changed because they're like tighter fit, like tighter made.
Didn't you ruin your own light shield anyways?
Yeah, for a picture.
Yeah.
For a picture. That's how far you should be dedicated.
You just
fuck up your camera. Yeah, I like sandpapered down the light seals to let the light go in through the sides.
That I remember.
Yeah, to make it look like faded memories.
That hurts just thinking about it. I hope you know.
But luckily I know how to switch them, so it didn't hurt me too much.
Yeah.
Like I just fixed them out the next day and it was good to go. That's a big
thing.
Yeah. Experimental as it gets, right? That's how it should be.
Destroy the medium in which you do it in order to complete the art.
Destroy the medium in order to evolve it further.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah. That's how it should be.
Okay, I think it's okay to leave it there. Don't destroy your cameras at home, people, please.
Fucking grab a hammer, break your lens, and take a picture. Or get a filter, I guess.
I was going to say, do the filter. Why?
No, it's not raw enough.
This lens is too expensive to break. I do not have money to replace it.
Not with that attitude. Maybe that's what it's missing.
That's why I haven't sold the piece. Right. I haven't broken my lens.
You haven't told you. Oh, dude, you break the lens and you hang it up next to the pictures you took. That's the lens I used.
I'm okay. I think you know what? I'll buy a broken lens and break it more, and then put that because I'm not talking.
Wait, that works too. Yeah. Sell yourself, market, boom.
Yeah, done.
Oh man.
All right, everybody. My head hurts from that thought now. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I still haven't figured out the name for. This is Brandon, of course, at the bearded
bitch.
No.
At bitch.
At the bearded Brandon.
At the bearded Brandon on Instagram.
Definitely check out his work. Very experimental. Very cool.
Thank you.
Check out his NFTs. I don't know if he still has them up. So, are they still up?
They have to be. It's on the blockchain. They're definitely up.
Yeah, they're
You'll
somewhere.
find them eventually.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave any comments for Brandon if you guys have any questions for him. Hit that subscribe button. I don't know what else to say. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Later.